Today we are taking a look at the updated Hobgoblin and Monsters of the Multiverse. Hobgoblins trace their origins to the ancient courts of the Feywild, where they first appeared with their goblin and bugbear kin. Many of them were driven from the Feywild by the conquering god Hobgoblin, who marshaled them as soldiers. But the Fey realm left its mark. Wherever they are in the multiverse, they continue to channel an aspect of the Feywild's rule of reciprocity, which creates a mystical bond between the giver and the receiver of a gift. On some worlds, such bonds lead hobgoblins to form communities with deep ties to one another. In Eberron and the Forgotten Realms, vast hobgoblin legions have emerged with ranks of devout soldiers famed for their unity. Hobgoblins are generally taller than their goblin cousins, but not quite as big as bugbears. They have curved, pointed ears and noses that turn bright red or blue during displays of emotion. So we've gone far away from the martial Hobgoblin history that was the original monster manual. Here we are with this kind of Fey flavor now. Probably controversial for most. I'm okay with it. Moving into our traits, we are a humanoid, but we are also considered a goblinoid. We're size medium. We have a walking speed of 30 feet. We have dark vision out to 60 feet. We also have advantage on saving throws to avoid or end the charmed condition. We have Fey Gift. You can use this trait to take the help action as a bonus action, and you can do so a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. You regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Starting at 3rd level, choose one of the options below each time you take the help action with this trait. First off is Hospitality. You and the creature you help each gain a number of temporary hit points equal to 1d6 plus your proficiency bonus. Passage. You and the creature you help each increase your walking speed by 10 feet until the start of your next turn. Spite. Until the start of your next turn, the first time the creature you help hits a target with an attack roll, the target has disadvantage on the attack roll it makes within the next minute. And finally, we have Fortune from the Many. This is a different ability here. If you miss with an attack roll or fail an ability check or a saving throw, you can draw on your bonds of reciprocity and gain a bonus to the roll equal to the number of allies you can see within 30 feet of you with a maximum bonus of +3. You can use this trait a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So hobgoblins are pretty interesting, and specifically they're interesting because there is kind of a misprint or a misunderstanding of the rules here. When you take the help action in combat, you're targeting enemies, not allies. The help action targets an enemy, and then whoever attacks them next has advantage. This is as written. So we actually run into kind of a mistake here where we use our bonus action to use the help action and then we target an enemy. We don't want to add any of these gifts that we give, and we don't really want to do it out of combat. So as written, this feature just completely falls flat. So of course we're going to do it rules as intended, and we're going to assume that we can now target our allies and then have these gifts happen, and then whoever they attack next, they have advantage on. That makes way more sense. It always did make more sense. I always thought the rules as written were weird there, and this whole race is built around the idea of how it should work rather than how it is written. Something I found really interesting and makes it really weird to do a build here, especially as a channel where I'm trying to be rules as written as often as possible, and this just totally doesn't follow that at all. This help action is pretty cool. We really need it on a class that doesn't use bonus actions often. A druid instantly stands out to me as a class that's not using its bonus action hardly ever, and so this is going to be a really cool thing to do. You can now give your rogue advantage, and also when he hits, now that person has disadvantage. You can do really cool things like that. Where I really wanted this race to shine is with the Mastermind Rogue, because we're using the help action so often. I was hoping that we could use these extra effects multiple times, and it would be a much needed buff to the Mastermind Rogue. But because there's the specific line where it says each time you use the help action with this trait, which this trait can only be used a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, then it doesn't actually expand what we can do too much. Proficiency bonus times a day, we're not getting a huge impact out of these help actions. They're little bonuses, and so it's a nice cherry on top of classes that don't use their bonus action often. It really doesn't hold up a build. Now, where we are actually quite strong is Fortune from the Many. Being able to get a +3 on saving throws, especially saving throws, is a really big deal. Rogues might want to use this to get to make sure they hit with their sneak attack, but you're going to need to be near allies, which rogues often need to. But then rogues are always using their bonus action for something else, and so we're not going to get the most out of Fey Gift. So rogues get something out of hobgoblins, but not as much as another race may. We may look at someone like, again, a druid who has concentration spells for days, and now we can get +3 when we really need it, on top of being able to do this help action. Now we're finding a spot for hobgoblins. Classes like druid, maybe bards, although they're using their bonus action for inspiration. They're not going to be using it all the time, so we can still mix in these help actions. Clerics who aren't using their spiritual weapon, wizards, sorcerers, so we're kind of into the full caster type area. People who are going to be using their bonus action all the time, monks, rogues, rangers, they're not going to be getting the most out of the Hobgoblin. So, long-winded way of saying concentration-based classes, Hobgoblin's going to help out a lot, and classes that don't use their bonus action often, Hobgoblin's going to help out there too. This has been my hot take on the Hobgoblin, but I'd like to hear yours. Let me know in the comments down below. I've taken a close look at many races and plan to do many more, so check out that playlist here. We're D&D Daily. We release new D&D content all the time, so if that's interesting to you, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one. See ya!